The next topic is IAS 23, borrowing cost. Okay, simple standard, only one page ka chart. Okay, everything is synchronized in only one page here. Okay, alright. This standard runs only on a simple concept. What it says is, if you have taken any borrowings, like a bank loan, debentures, or whatever, if you have taken a bank loan, means you will utilize it for some purpose, no? If that borrowing, on borrowing, what do you incur, sir? If you take any bank loan, what do you pay? Interest. Yes, no, that we call it as borrowing cost. Borrowing cost is nothing but interest and other charges that you incur on your borrowings. So they're saying, if the borrowing cost is related to qualifying asset, listen to this words carefully. There's only one concept, rest everything is not there. Alright. If you have borrowing cost and a borrowing cost is directly attributable to qualifying asset, then borrowing cost should not be transferred to P&L, it should be capitalized. That's all this particular standard says. Ideally, the interest that you pay on bank loan, will you show it in balance sheet or will you show it in P&L? We generally book finance interest and all as finance charges. In SPL you book it, correct? This standard is giving you a little extra clarity about that. What it is saying is, if that borrowing cost, if it is related to what? Qualifying asset, then that borrowing cost will not be transferred to P&L, it will be capitalized, meaning it will be added to the cost of that qualifying asset. That is what I have written here. Fair enough? That's all is a simple fundamental. If you want to read it, borrowing cost like interest that you have incurred to acquire, construct or produce a qualifying asset should be capitalized, meaning it should be added to the cost of the qualifying asset. Okay now, what is the next question that is running in your mind? This is okay, sir. What is qualifying asset? Qualifying asset means those assets which take substantial period of time to get ready for management intended use. Which takes substantial time to get ready. Okay, I purchased this iPad today. From when can I start using it? I purchased a laptop or iPad today. When can I start using it? Today. Is it taking a long period of time to get ready for its use, or is it already ready? Already ready. That means, is that laptop and all a qualifying asset? No. You purchased your mobile phone. Okay, normally mobile phones also you'll use it for 2-3 years. Yes, possible. Correct. We don't know, yeah. They laugh at maybe 6 months they are changing. Alright. But generally, at least most population use it for at least what? 18 to 20 months at least. Okay. So you purchase the phone today, sir. When can you start using it? Immediately we'll tear off the box piece and there only we'll start using it. Correct or no? Is it taking substantial period of time to get ready? No. Substantial period time means that asset which takes a long period of time to get ready. Suppose you are constructing a building. You did not purchase a building. You are constructing a building. Today only it will be ready. Yeah? No, it may take, let's say construction. You are constructing a 10-storied building. And the engineer giving you an estimate that it will take 2 years to complete. Today you started the construction. That means when it will be completed? 2 years. Correct? So is it ready today or is it taking substantially long period of time? It is taking substantially long period of time. Those assets we refer to it as qualifying assets. Qualifying assets are those which takes a long period of time to get ready for its use. What is that long period of time? They have not defined. It is management discretion. Meaning, that long period of time could be 5 months, it could be 10 months, it could be 14 months, 20 months, whatever. But for Indian scenario, as per accounting standard, we have an accounting standard 16. I don't know whether you have studied this. It's not relevant for your ACC exam, I'm saying. If at all you have studied in your BCom, AS16 deals with borrowing cost in India. AS16 says ordinarily a period of 12 months there they take it as substantial period of time. That is in India book. Are you writing Indian exam or European exam? That means you don't have any substantial period of time. Because IFRS or Ind AS does not define what is substantial period of time. That is management discretion. Is it okay? They will only tell you in the question if at all they are asking that it is a qualifying asset. Or you can assume. Write a note that I have assumed this asset to be qualifying asset and accordingly do the treatment. Manageable so far with you everybody? That means this standard only deals with one set. Check if you have any borrowing. Borrowing means loans. On loan what do you incur? Interest. See if that loan is utilized either to purchase or to produce or to construct a what asset? A qualifying asset. If that borrowing is used to purchase a qualifying asset, then the borrowing cost will not be transferred to P&L, it will be added to the cost of the asset. Now I give you building examples. Fair enough? And maybe I'll write it, it will be easier I think. X Limited, let's assume. They are constructing a building. And they feel the cost of construction is $1 million, or let's make it as $10 million. To construct this building, it will take about $10 million. Every company will have cash on. If they don't have this $10 million, what will the company do? They'll take a borrowing, they'll take a loan, correct? No. Let us say they have taken a bank loan of $10 million to finance this construction. To finance this construction, they have taken a loan. Let's say this loan is at 10% interest rate. Now, logically, you tell me, sir, if you have a loan, means you will pay interest, no? Correct? Let's say, for simplicity purpose, let's say this construction ka period is 2 years. Loan period also is 2 years. Let's assume. Generally, loan period will be lot higher. 10 years, 20 years. For simplicity, I'm assuming it as what? 2 years. Got it? That means, can you tell me, sir, interest per annum? What is the interest that you will pay to the bank every year? $10 million is your loan amount. Interest is 10% per annum. That means, how much is the interest you will pay every year? 1 million. Got it? Ideally, you used to transfer this interest to P&L account, correct? Now, you just check, sir. If this building was not there, if the company did not construct this building, would the loan be there or that also would not be there? If this building was not there means, if this loan would be there, would the company take this loan or loan would have not been taken? Loan would not be taken. Yes or no? That means what? This interest is directly related to building, no, sir. It becomes your directly attributable cost. It becomes your DAC. That's what they say. Fair enough. Hence, you don't transfer this interest to SPL, but you add it to the cost of the building. You add it to the cost of the building. That's all is the Ind AS 23 ka funda. So, as far as Ind AS 23 goes, you need to just figure out whether this interest is related to qualifying asset. If it is related to qualifying asset, don't transfer it to P&L, add it off. And what is a qualifying asset? Which takes substantially a long period of time to get ready for its intended use. What a substantial period of time? Not defined as such. You can do it. That is all is what I have written in the first page. Fine. And other borrowing costs, where will it go? If it is not related to qualifying asset, then it goes off to SPL. Only if the interest is related to qualifying asset, it will be capitalized. All other borrowing costs is your +1 approach. It will be transferred off to P&L only. That is what I have written in the first section. Any doubt, anybody in the first section, or can I get to the next section, sir? Can I proceed on? Alright. Okay, second, commencement and cessation of borrowing cost. Meaning, when should you start capitalizing borrowing cost? When should you stop capitalizing borrowing cost? These are the two concepts. Stop, we'll take it later. Commencement, we will first say. If you will start commencing the capitalization, meaning you will start adding the interest cost to the asset cost when 3 conditions are satisfied, when all the 3 conditions should be satisfied. One, you should have started incurring borrowing cost, meaning there should be a loan, and on that loan you should have started paying interest. So borrowing cost should have been incurred. Second condition, expenditure on qualifying asset should have been given. Expenditure on qualifying asset you should be incurred. Third one, activities on qualifying asset should have begun. The day all of these 3 conditions get satisfied, no, from that day onwards you will start capitalizing the borrowing cost. Till that period, any borrowing cost will be transferred to P&L only. Little bit vented. I'll give you a small example. Alright, let's look at a small example. Same, I'll continue with this only. X Limited, they are constructing a building, okay? To construct a building, they took a loan, sir. The date of the loan is 1st April 2021. On 1st April 2021, they took the loan. This loan is for qualifying asset only, to construct that building itself. Excuse me. Alright, on 1st April 2021, X Limited took a loan. If you take a loan on 1st April 2021, from that day onwards, you'll start paying you'll start paying the interest to the bank. Guys, anybody, if you are there's some lot of background music is coming, so kindly keep yourself on unmute or on mute mode. If you have any doubts, then only unmute yourself, okay? The online guys. Alright. The day you took the loan is 1st April. Alright. If you're constructing the building means first you'll start planning, no, sir. You approached an architect. He started working on the plan from 1st May 2021 onwards. Done? Actual physical construction of the asset. You started putting that brick, mud, sand, window on, no? That and all you started doing. Physical construction started on 1st June 2021. Done? You need to tell me from which day will you start capitalizing borrowing cost. From which day you will start paying capitalizing borrowing cost. There are 3 conditions to capitalize for capitalizing borrowing cost. What is that? 1, borrowing cost should be incurred. Okay, let's test this. You took the loan on 1st April means from which day you have to start paying the loan, sir? Interest on this loan. 1st April, ideally, correct? No? So, borrowing cost will start from which date? 1st April 2021. Second one is what? Expenditure on qualifying asset should have been incurred. Fine? Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me just make this 1 minute like this. Let me target one more, maybe 1 minute. I'll just modify this example. Maybe that will be better. 1st July, 1st August. Okay, you took the loan on 1st April. You approached architect. He told, I will do the planning, but first you should give me my money. He's saying, first rokka, then only work starts. He's like that. He took the money from you for the planning activities. On which date? 1st June. But he is lazy. He started working on your project only from 1st July. Physical construction started on 1st August. Now, I've given you 4 dates. Which date you should capitalize the borrowing cost is the question. Let's go over the 3 conditions again. What are the 3 conditions? 1, if you want to capitalize means 1, borrowing cost should have been incurred. Borrowing cost will start from which date? 1st April. Second condition, expenditure on qualifying asset should have begun. Correct? No? Sir, you want to construct building means first you will take the planning. Yes. So you paid the architect. Let's say some $100,000 you paid architect. On which day did you pay? 1st June. So the expenditure on qualifying asset started on which date? Expenditure on qualifying asset started on 1st June 2021. Okay. What is the third condition? Activities on qualifying asset should have begun. You paid him on 1st June. On that day only he started the work. No, he started on which date? 1st July. 1st July he started doing planning activities. Then maybe he gave the plan. Using that plan, physical construction started on 1st August. Now which day I should take now for the third conditions? 1st July or 1st August? 1st July or 1st August? Because third condition is work on qualifying asset should have begun. Planning work began on 1st July. Physical work began on 1st August. So which among these 2 dates according to you I should consider? 1st July or 1st August? 1st July or 1st August? 1st July. 1st July. When they say activities on qualifying asset, they don't mean physical activities. Even administrative activities, planning activities are also activities. Fair enough? So activities on qualifying asset has begun on 1st July. That means now you would tell me, sir, all the 3 conditions will be satisfied on which date? On first date, only first condition is satisfied. Correct? Now only interest you are paying to the banker. Second date, what's it? Interest you are paying to the banker and expenditure on qualifying asset has started. But work has started on qualifying asset? No. That means what is the date on which all the 3 conditions are satisfied? All the 3 conditions have been satisfied on 1st July. That means the commencement date is what here, sir? The commencement date is 1st July 2021. From that day onwards, you will start capitalizing the interest to borrowing cost. But can you tell the banker, oh no, my standard says I can capitalize from 1st July and I will also pay you interest only from 1st July. What will they say? Yes or no? They'll show you a lot of other things, but I'm just saying, yeah. Alright. So you have to pay the interest on which date, sir? To the banker. 1st April. Right? No. So that means from 1st April to, can I say 30th June? Yes. So whatever interest that you pay, it will not be capitalized. That interest will be transferred to SPL. So before commencement date, if you are paying any interest, that interest will go off to SPL. That is the funda. Did you understand this concept, sir? Second concept, commencement concept. Everybody, online sector? Alright, they're saying yes. I'll move on then. So this is about commencements. Once you start something, you should also stop now. I've started the class. You're eagerly waiting when I stop also now. Correct? So next concept is what? Cessation. Cessation means when will you stop capitalizing. So they've given the provision for that also. says you'll stop capitalizing when the activities on qualifying asset is significantly or substantially complete. Not necessary. Here, sir, here you're constructing a building, sir. Fine. Building, you don't have to wait for the building to be 100% complete. Normally, asset will never be 100% complete. If you know, if you have constructed your own house, you have done housewarming ceremony. After housewarming ceremony, also still some work will be going on. No? Some painting and all will be there. Even after you went inside the house, also still small work will be there. Yes or no? Correct? So standard is saying work will everly going on. So you don't have to wait for 100% completion. The day on which substantially activities are complete. Okay, like here with respect to building, kind of, if you have a small electric socket which is yet to be fitted, should you have to wait for that? No. Why? Because all these are petty works, correct? No. The day on which substantial activities when it is complete. That day onwards, from that day onwards, you cannot capitalize. That is your stopping date. Got this? So what is substantial completion? Again, you need to take, it's a management discretion as such. They have not given any particular that this is only the rule like that. They need to, management need to assess when it is a substantially complete. When can say management say that it is substantially complete? When they start using that asset, no sir? Correct? When management start using this building, you can say that this building is ready for use, correct? No? From that day onwards, capitalization stops. Or if you want it as another way around, the day when you start depreciating, when will you start depreciation? When the asset is ready for use. From that day onwards, capitalization stops. Here, capitalization ka ending date is depreciation ka starting date. Like that way you can take it. Okay, if you want to remember it. Because you'll start depreciating the asset only when it is ready for use. No? Correct? That day onwards becomes your cutoff for cessation. Meaning stop capitalizing. Did you understand this? Or construction got suspended. Sometimes happen, no, Josh may we take off. We start constructing. Then some legal battle or cash over some problem, we'll suspend or cancel off our construction. If the construction is suspended due to any chance, on that day you can stop capitalization. Okay, these are the two reasons. It is or. The day when the asset is substantially complete or the day the asset construction got suspended. You check that date and that is the date on which you will stop capitalizing. Manageable? So after this cessation, if you are still incurring any borrowing cost, then such borrowing cost will go to P&L because you cannot capitalize beyond that. Beyond this date, if you are still incurring borrowing cost, it will go to P&L. That is your cessation and commencement and cessation ka provision. Any doubt, anybody in this section? Or can I go for the last section? Last section, a few problems, over, standard, that's it. Can I go? Move on or move out? More like move out, but I'll still take it as move on and go on. Yeah. Third one, as per as this standard is considered, borrowings are classified into two things. One is specific borrowing, another one is general borrowing. Name itself is saying specific borrowing. Specific borrowing means what, sir? You have taken a loan and that loan is used for that specific purpose. Like you took a bank loan. You took $1 million worth of bank loan from SBI and you used it to construct a building. That means, can you identify the purpose here? You took one loan and it is used for one purpose. You are able to clearly map the purpose. Correct? That loan we call it as, or those borrowings we call it as specific borrowing. It's not necessary that it should be a one loan with one purpose. Correct? If you have two loans used for two purposes, still it is a specific borrowing because you are clearly able to map or identify for what purpose it is utilized. This is okay. Suppose it is chow bath, meaning multiple loans, multiple purpose, from what money, from which loan it came, we are not able to identify. Like our classes, first 5 minutes we will understand, next 20 minutes nothing will understand, full bouncer, correct? No, on and off scenario. If it is like that, then we call such borrowings as general borrowings. Enough, multiple loans used for multiple purpose, if you are not able to map for what purpose the loan is specifically utilized for, then such a borrowing we call it as general borrowing. Got it? Is it okay? Fine. Sir, if you have a specific borrowing, no, you will not have any issues. Why? Here, or maybe I'll take this example only. You're constructing a building, correct? What is your construction cost, sir? 10 million. To finance this construction, you took a loan. How much loan you took? 10 million. What is the interest rate? 1 million. That means what is the interest? 1 million. So easily you can find out the interest and you can capitalize, correct? No? Now I'll give you another scenario. First of all, is this a specific borrowing, sir? This is very much a specific borrowing because you took a bank loan and that loan is specifically or it is designated for what usage? Constructing a building. Clearly you are able to identify the purpose for which the loan is utilized. So it is a specific borrowing. Let me give you another scenario. Same. You are constructing a building. The construction cost is $10 million. Fine. You have term loan number 1. Okay, loan amount is 8 million and the interest rate on this loan is 10%. You have a term loan number 2. Loan number 2. Term loan means the loan taken for a specific term. Okay, and that's always a term loan. Okay, let's say you have another term. Is it necessary a company should have only one loan, or they could have multiple loans? Possible they could have multiple loans, right? Let's say we have another term loan for 6 million. The interest rate here is 12%. Fine. Then we have a bank overdraft, let's say for 1 million, where the interest rate is 15%. So far, okay? What is your total loan amount, sir? 15 million, correct. You need how much for your construction? 10 million. Can you tell me you took this 10 million from which loan? We don't know. And irony here is each loan has different interest rate. How will you find out, sir, interest amount, sir? If you can't find out the interest amount, how would you find out how much should be capitalized? Problem, yes or no? Now, if you if the standard had left this as it is, each of them would have done their own creativity, correct? No? Correct. One would have taken amount from 8 million, one would have taken from 1 million, like this. Everybody would have done their own jugaad and then something and all would have happened. Yes, no? So this sort of a scenario, we call it as general borrowing. We have multiple borrowings from which borrowing we are utilizing or we are using qualifying asset. Qualifying asset money came from which borrowing we are not able to find out. Such a case we call it as general borrowings. Did you understand the meaning of general borrowings? Now, general borrowing, the problem here is all these borrowings will have different interest rate, correct? No? Hence, standard is saying, don't worry about any of this interest rate. I will suggest you one interest rate, you find out that and you capitalize using that interest rate. That interest rate, it is nothing but weighted average interest rate, which you must have found out as weighted average cost of capital in your FM or somewhere in your BCom. Yes, huh? Somewhere we have found out weighted average interest rate, you find out. Fair enough. That some books also will call it as capitalization rate. You don't have to worry, we have two problems to find that also. I can tell you now, but it's okay. Fair enough. Let's not go there for the time being. So in case of general borrowing, you find out the weighted average interest rate. Use weighted average interest rate for your capitalization purpose. You don't have to worry about this because you have multiple loans. No? Things will go haywire. You start considering all of them. Hence, in case of general borrowing, you find out something known as weighted average cost of borrowing. That is given by the small formula, borrowing cost divided by total general borrowings into 100. Actually, this is not just borrowing cost. This should be time weighted borrowing cost divided by time weighted general borrowing. But that time weight ka funda they are not testing in F1 or F7. Hence, I am not discussing that with you. Fine. Maybe in SBR we'll see if at all it comes. Done. For now, it's a rosy scenario. Very, very easy problem as such. You don't have to worry. Got it? So find out the weighted average cost of borrowing and capitalize that. Okay. One small concept, sir. For specific borrowing, will you have any interest headache? Like for general borrowing, you have an interest headache because multiple loans is there, multiple interest is there. So you have some interest headache. For specific loan, is there any interest headache? No. But if you have any investment and if due to that investment, if you're getting any investment income, then that should be deducted. What do I mean by this? Let's go with the same example here. Maybe I'll create another one. Say X Limited is constructing a building. Cost is $10 million. Let us say construction date is 1st July 2021. They started the construction, they want to start the construction of this building from 1st July 2021. They have taken a loan, sir, on 1st April 2021. It's okay, construction date is okay. I'll make it as 1st April only. It's fine, no issues. Why too complicated? It's okay. Construction date is 1st April 2021. Loan also they took it on what? 1st April 2021. Okay, loan amount, let's say, is 10 million only for simplicity. Now, you tell me, sir. Bank sanctioned you a loan of how much here? 10 million. Entire 10 million, you will give it to the engineer or civil contractor on the first day only. Hey, I got loan, take much. You'll give it off? No. Why? What is the guarantee that he'll finish the building? Correct? No, there is always an issue there. Entire 10 million, will you spend it on day one or the spending will be in stages? Spending will be in stages. Maybe, since the construction is for 2 years here, let's assume. First year, you may require only 8 million, possible. Balance 2 million, maybe spent in the second year, like this, there could be some proportion. Yes. Bank gave you a loan of how much entirely now? 10 million. entire 10 million will be utilized in first year only. Yeah? Now, how much of it is utilized in the first year? I've assumed 8 million. That means we have some surplus now. We know that we don't require entire 10 million right now. We require only in the current year, we require only 8 million. So if companies have surplus, will they keep the surplus money with themselves, or will they start making some investments? They'll make some investments. Yes or no? Temporary investments they'll make. Maybe they'll deposit that extra money in a bank fixed deposit, or government bonds they may buy. Like the safe investments they will buy and earn some return. Yes or no? So if you have any investment income on such temporary investment, that should be deducted. Logically you think borrowing cost you are capitalizing, no? Because borrowing cost is an expense for you. Correct? Now using that borrowing you made an investment and you are getting investment income. Now what should you do for that investment income? Borrowing cost, are you transferring it to P&L? No. That means this investment income also should you transfer it to P&L? No. Reduce it from the cost of the borrowing cost. Did you understand this? Oh, once more. We have a problem also, don't worry about this, but a little bit went in. If there is any investment income that you have earned on temporary investment, that should be deducted from the borrowing cost. So net borrowing cost should be capitalized. Meaning after deducting this investment income, whatever borrowing cost remains, that should be capitalized. That's all is the provision pertaining to Ind AS 23 as such. Can we apply what we learned in a few problems? Will that be okay? Alright, let's get to the problem. 1 minute.
Sir, I have a doubt.
You have a doubt. Go on, sir.
Sir, the income from investments are those incomes that we should only take that the borrowings that we have invested.
Yes. Okay, he's saying, sir, you're saying you will deduct the investment income here, right? How, suppose I have made the investments using borrowing cost, fair enough. So if you want to deduct the investment income from borrowing cost, correct? This investment you should have made from the borrowings only. If you made incomes from your general P&L, you made a profit this year. Using that, if you have made investment, that and all you will not deduct it, because is that anyway related to your borrowings? No. Out of your borrowings, if you are making any investment, only such investment income you are reducing. Not every investment income, sir. This is not your general investment income. Out of the borrowing, if you have made any investment, only such temporary investment income only you will reduce. Good question. Hope I've answered. Yes, sir? Yes, alright. I think we have about 5 questions, so it may take a little time, maybe half an hour probably. Let's do a thing. Anyway, we've learned the concept. Let's take a break and then come back and solve the problem. Would that be okay with you? So that you also feel too much frustration may not creep in. That'll be fine? Alright, let's take a break for like 15-20 minutes and then come back and do that. Thank you.